Hi and welcome to another video. So this is my 10-month review of having the Lynk & Co. 01. As you might have seen, I will be returning it, but if you want to know why, you should head over to that video instead. In this video I'm going to go through my views of having the car for 10 months now, so both summer and winter. So I'm going to start with the negative parts. First of all, when you're getting the car and you want to boot everything up, the infotainment system is really slow. And I'm not talking about, getting into sort of the apps and doing some of those things. I'm talking about a more fundamental stuff, like just turning on the music or getting into the navigation system. So those things that you want to do right away. That has been an annoyance for a long time now, especially sort of music and navigation. There is one solution to the navigation problem, but I'll get to that later on the positive side. But right now, slow startup is a big negative. Another thing is that here on the steering wheel on the right side, these are touch buttons. Capacitive, so you can sort of swipe. That is leading to a lot of sort of mispresses. So when you just want to sort of lower the volume, you turn your thumb down and you just turn off the volume altogether. And it can sometimes, do things that you don't want. I have said that the positive thing with this car is all the sort of physical buttons, and that's true. I mean, those are great and you can still sort of press here. But I would wish that you can turn off the touch panel here, because it's quite annoying. Another thing with sort of software and infotainment system is the navigation. I think it's good at sort of, finding places. You don't have to have the address, just the name and so on. But I realized that the map is totally wrong for many sort of simple stuff, like even around Stockholm, there are, it says you should turn here and there's no turn, and even though it's a straight way, you think, yeah, you can turn. So that has been more and more obvious that the navigation system is not using updated maps. And even going on longer trips, you can get sort of weird routes that it chooses, and you can't really... Yeah, you have to compare to Google Maps to sort of know if it's a good road to take or not. Another sort of driver assistant aid is the highway assistant. I haven't been using that that much. I haven't felt really secure with it, because in the beginning it did do some weird stuff. So even though you might think it's a Volvo system, I'm not so sure it is, to be honest. So I haven't been using that. Another negative thing is when you have this car, you want to drive it on electric, and mostly you do. But if you have a short trip and you manage to sort of push the gas pedal a little bit too much, it will engage the gas engine, and I guess that is okay. But it takes a lot of time for it to switch off, and I'm not talking seconds, I'm talking minutes. So if you sort of engage the gas engine, it will keep it running for a while, even though you're sort of not you don't have to use it. You're still sort of braking or going sort of soft on the gas pedal. And I'm not sure if that's some kind of sort of maintenance thing, that once it has fired up, it has to run for a while before it shuts off. But that has been quite annoying, that you want to sort of be able to force it to use only the electric motor. Continuing on software, but not in the car, but rather in the app. Features have been late, features aren't working. Even the sort of cloud that's sort of connecting the phone to the car has been has had a lot of downtime. I can't get notifications if anyone wants to sort of rent the car, so I missed a few of that, so it's basically useless. And the sharing isn't working. So I think they managed to get sharing working sometimes, but it's not sort of stable enough to use if you don't know the person who is sort of you're renting to. I've never been able to share it at all because there is some kind of hardware problem with my car, so the digital key isn't working for me, and Lynk & Co seems unable to fix that. Been talking with them for months, but it's mostly silence, and they don't have the ability to fix hardware related issues that are, you know, not part of the standard Volvo platform. That's at least my experience. Another thing that we talked about before is the 95 kilometer gear shift. That is sort of the car loses power if you're running on electric because it wants to switch gears for the electric motor. So there's been a lot of discussion if it's a bug or if it's a feature. It doesn't really matter. It's annoying as hell to have that, to be honest. And it's I would have wanted it to be at sort of lower speeds, to be honest. Right there at 95, you're on the highway and you want to have sort of power available. So having that at sort of 80 or 75 would be better for me. That's present in the Volvo hybrid as well, but it's still on the negative side in this car. Next negative, and I hope I have a list here so you can see all the points. It's the wind noise coming from the side view mirrors. The side view mirrors are great because they are big, but the negative is that there's a lot of wind noise over 90 kilometers per hour. So the best thing is to sort of try the car out just so you know if you will manage or not. So these might not be sort of deal breakers, but it's good to be aware of the different sort of negative sides of the car before you get one. The positive side, if you get one and you don't like it, you just return it, but still. So the next negative, or it's not a negative, but they have been promoting the voice assistant, and to be honest, I haven't been using it at all. It's not a selling point. You shouldn't sort of even consider that it has a voice assistant when getting this. If you have sort of Carplay or Android Auto, you use those assistants instead. Okay, so finally the positive things. And I will sort of try to summarize my overall view at the end, but some of the more positive things are coming now. So first of all, the electric range. It's about 65 kilometers in the 60 to 65 kilometers in the summer. At winter, it's more around 40, to be honest, when it gets cold. However, compared to Volvo, or at least the old Volvo hybrids, that's much, much better. However, Volvo has been updating all their sort of plug-in hybrids to the same battery which is in the Lynk & Co. So now they have the same range. But still, I mean, in the summer, 60 to 65 is better than sort of around 40, which the old Volvos did. Back to the buttons again, so the volume control and fan and all these are sort of physical buttons, which is great. You don't have to go into the system. It's been a large trend in the auto industry, especially with electric vehicles, that you don't have physical buttons. Here you do, and it's great. Another thing with the software, I mean, it's pretty great to have sort of Spotify and so integrated in the car, and that it works. It has been working for me at least. The integration with the Carplay and Android Auto is also a positive. It's working wirelessly. It integrates at least a bit into the instrument cluster as well. So Another feature that I really appreciate is the blind spot detection. So there's a little light that comes on if there is a car in your blind spot. So overall, I think the car has a lot of sort of extra equipment, but it doesn't have all of them, and some of them aren't working properly, like the highway assist. And I mean, two of the sort of features I'm missing is the steering wheel heater, the hands-free trunk, so you can just kick under it so it opens, so you don't have to use your hands. And also, this might be just a Swedish thing, but there's no ski hatch, so there's no opening in the middle to sort of store your skis. And as you know, Volvo and the Lynk & Co has 60-40 split in the back. Can't just fold the middle seat to store the skis. If we're going to say something about the app on the positive side, the last few months the sort of preheating has been working quite good. That's really nice to have. One downside is that you have to have it plugged in, so it only works when you're sort of leaving home, so you have to have it sort of plugged in all the time. Otherwise, I can't say that I've been using the app that much. It's just for the preheating, to be honest. Another thing that's good with the car is the sort of blended braking. When you start pushing the brake pedal, it actually just regenerates electricity, so it starts charging the battery. And if you push really hard, then it sort of initiates the brakes. And I think that has been working quite well. It sort of switches from one to the other if you need sort of more braking power. It does that, and it doesn't feel awkward. And you sort of get quite a satisfying feeling when you're braking and you sort of see the battery is charging. So that was my sort of positive negative list. Overall, it's a great car. It feels modern. It feels quite young, and it seems like people also like the look of it, because you do get many people looking at it. The things that aren't working is the sort of sharing and all the sort of connected things that are very new, and as I said in another video, I don't think they will solve that anytime soon. Maybe they need to sort of release a few cars before they get it right, to be honest. But overall, I'm quite happy with the car. If you compare it to a Volvo XC40, this feels more modern and a little bit more fun. But that might be changing now when Volvo is changing to Android Automotive. I think that might be a much more mature system and a lot more sort of development power to develop that infotainment system. So I think that was everything from me. If you are interested in the car, I would sort of recommend you getting it and trying it for a few months at least. I've been very happy with it. But I am disappointed that I haven't been able to rent it out, and that the sort of connected functionalities haven't been working that well. If you have another opinion or some input, please let me know in the comments. I think I've seen a lot of opinions, and I think most of them are in line with what I have said. That was everything from me in this video. See you in the next one. Bye.